Hello everyone, you are watching the Amazing Facts channel. Universal amphibious assault ships are a subclass of amphibious assault ships that combine most of the functions necessary for amphibious assault. Also, ships are used to deliver weapons and military equipment or supplies to non-equipped areas of the coast. Today, we will show you 10 of the best universal landing ships in the world. Let's go. Number 10. Osumi. The design of the ship of the Osumi type was developed by the shipbuilding company Mitsui in the early 90s. The architecture and design solutions of the Osumi-class amphibious assault ship are based on the ideology of the American Universal ships of the Tarvana and Wasp class. The Japanese ship has the qualities of a landing helicopter carrier, landing cargo transport, and landing helicopter dock. It is intended for transportation and disembarkation of troops to the shore by means of helicopters and landing boats. Control of landing forces, evacuation of wounded people and medical care, as well as for material and technological support of landing forces. Ships of the Osumi type have a flat and elongated carrier-like deck with a length of 584 feet and a width of 85 feet. It is used as a platform for 2 combat helicopters, but experts point out that the ship may well be equipped with vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Just like in the American amphibious assault ships, in the stern of the Osumi there is a brass chamber with 2 American landing crafts with an air cushion of the LCAC type or the corresponding amount of conventional landing craft. The tank hold adjustment to the dock chamber can accommodate up to 10 main battle tanks or 1,400 tons of cargo. Number 9. Hyugo. The helicopter carrier of the Hyugo project of the Sea Self-Defense Forces of Japan is the first largest at the time of commissioning of the helicopter carrier of Japan after the Second World War. Its characteristics are more like a light aircraft carrier. Anti-submarine warfare is the priority for this type of helicopter. Hyugo has the ability to transport up to 11 helicopters or aircrafts with vertical short takeoff. The armament of the ship has the radar weapons of the OBS-20C class, electronic equipment of the BIOS class, air defense systems of the FSC-3 class, anti-aircraft artillery of the Phalanx class, rocket artillery of the ESSM class, anti-submarine armament of the ASROC class, mine torpedo weapons and artillery. The length of the vessel, 646 feet, width 108 feet, power capacity 100,000 horsepower, maximum speed 30 knots, maximum water displacement 18,000 tons. Number 8. Izumo. The new ship of the Japanese Navy called Izumo has a deck and dimensions almost similar to the aircraft carriers Sakuku and Zukaka. The government insists that it is not an aircraft carrier. Izumo is nearly 820 feet long, about 131 feet wide, and is capable of achieving speeds up to 30 knots. The crew of the ship has 470 people. At the same time, up to 500 more people can be accommodated on board. In fact, the ship is a light aircraft carrier and landing craft at the same time. Izumo helicopter carrier is able to carry 7 anti-submarine and 2 search and rescue helicopters, and the deck can accommodate and carry out takeoff and landoff operations for 5 rotocrafts at the same time. The Ministry of Defense of Japan announced its intentions to use this new tilt-rotor aircraft of the Osprey MB-22 type, the modern aircraft of American production, which is a hybrid of aircraft and helicopter. Number 7. HMS Ocean. HMS Ocean is the largest amphibious ship and helicopter carrier of the Royal Navy of Great Britain and is designed to transfer troops and support amphibious operations. The landing craft has the typical architecture of a light aircraft carrier, but it has a flat flight deck without a springboard. In front of the superstructure, there is a glass navigational combat cabin connected to the flight control station. The flight deck, with 6 starting positions, is located 49 feet above the waterline and is 558 feet long and 102 feet wide. It can accommodate up to 12 super heavy helicopters, such as AW-101 Merlin and CIH Chinook, for vertical transfer of military equipment on the coast. The Air Group includes 18 helicopters, but the aircraft and crews are not part of the Permanent Aviation Group and is formed depending on the tasks. The landing helicopter can also transport 15 aircraft of the Harrier type without the possibility of takeoff. Number 6. Dokdo. The universal amphibious ship of the Dokdo type is a series of helicopter carriers of the APX project of the Navy of the Republic of Korea, named after the Dokdo Islands of the territory of South Korea disputed by Japan. The ship has a length of 653 feet and width of 102 feet, the tonnage of 14,000 tons while being empty and 17,000 tons while being full. It has a dock chamber for amphibious landing, tracked vehicles, and amphibious landing boats on LCAC air cushion. Under the aircraft carrier deck there is a hangar. The Dokdo type ship can accommodate 720 paratroopers, 400 crew members, 10 tanks, 10 trucks, 7 AAV vehicles, 10 UA-60 helicopters, and 2 LCAC boats or 4 LCAS boats. The self-defense system includes anti-aircraft missile ASMD, 21 launchers, the anti-aircraft artillery complex Goalkeeper, 2 7-barrel 7-inch installations. Number 5. Mistral. The Mistral ships are amphibious ships developed by France and equipped with a helicopter group, a dock for landing boats, and extensive internal premises for the management of operations at a great distance from the military base, as well as the placement of troops, including heavy armored vehicles, hospital, or all of the above in various combinations. The contract for the construction and supply of 2 Mistral-type ships for the Russian Navy was signed in June of 2011 and terminated in May 2015. In September 2015, Egypt agreed with France to purchase those 2 Mistrals. The purchase contract was signed on October 10th. The means of self-defense are repressed by 2 1-inch rapid-fire artillery systems of the Mauser brand and 2 SAMs of the VES R8D type. As a means of targeting, the ship uses 3 coordinated radar, and direct control of weapons is carried out by using the Optical Electronic Weapon Control System. Mistral carries either 4 LCU landing craft or 2 LAC AES air cushion landing craft. The aviation group consists of 16 heavy or 32 light helicopters. Number 4. Juan Carlos I. Juan Carlos I is the universal amphibious aircraft carrier of the Spanish Navy. According to the Spanish classifications, this ship is a strategic projection of force and is close in concept to the American ships of the Wasp type, but it is equipped with a springboard to increase the combat load of aircraft with a shortened takeoff. The ship has a 663-foot-long flight deck with a springboard. On the deck there are 8 landing pads for AV-8 Harrier II, F-35 or medium helicopters, 4 landing points for heavier helicopters, CH-47 Chinook, and 1 point for tilt rotor crafts of the V-22 Osprey type. The air group includes up to 30 aircraft and helicopters. The crew of the ship is 900 people. Accommodations is provided for 1,200 Marines. The 2-level multi-purpose garage has an area of 64,583 square feet and can accommodate up to 6,000 tons of cargo and equipment. The 584-foot wide stern gate dock accommodates 4 landing barges and 4 inflatable landing boats, or 1 hovercraft and floating armored personnel carriers. Number 3. Canberra. The universal amphibious ship Canberra of the Australian Navy was developed on September 23, 2009 at the shipyard of the Spanish company Navidez. It was launched on February 18, 2011 and became part of the country's fleet in 2014. Its full water displacement is 26,800 tons. The length is 758 feet, the width is 105 feet, and the flight deck is 663 by 105 feet. The armament consists of 4 1-inch Typhoon automatic units and 6 half-inch machine guns. The ship can accommodate 6 NH-90 helicopters on the upper deck and 11 in the aircraft hangar. Up to 150 units of automobiles and armored vehicles in the cargo compartment, or up to 1,000 Marines. In the aft part, there is a submerged docking chamber for 4 LCM-1E landing craft. As part of the aircraft wing of the ship is scheduled to have tactical fighters with short takeoff and vertical landing, F-35B Lightning II. The board is equipped with a hospital for 22 beds. Number 2. Wasp. Universal amphibious ships of the Wasp series of the U.S. Navy were designed for landing units of the U.S. Marine Corps. Ships of this series were the largest ships of this type in the world before the development of ships of the American type. Ships of the Wasp type have 8 decks, 3 of which include slipway decks, hangar, and flight area that continuously goes through the entire length of the ship. The 367-foot-long helicopter hangar is located at the stern of the ship between deck 1 and 4 and has a height of 26 feet. On the flight deck, there is a landing pad for 9 helicopters, 6 from the left and 3 from the right. Under the hangar, between 4 and 7 decks of the dock, there is a dock area the size of 276 by 49 feet. Its height is also 26 feet. The ship is able to accommodate the latest fighter F-35, as well as a cargo tilt rotorcraft of the Osprey type. In addition to 1,100 crew members, the ship can accommodate up to 1,600 Marines. The ship also has a hospital for 600 beds with 6 operating rooms, which allow the expedition formation not to depend on coastal medical facilities. Number 1. America. Ships of the America type are a type of amphibious assault ships of the U.S. Navy. The design and construction of the amphibious assault ships of America were initiated for the gradual replacement of amphibious assault ships of the Tarvana and Wasps. The ships are designed for the same purpose as the universal amphibious ships of the previous types, to provide landing in the expeditionary department of the Marine Corps on an unequipped coast of an enemy, along with landing equipment and means of air support of the landing combat aircraft with a shortened vertical takeoff, F-35 JASF, tilt rotor MV-22, Osprey, and transport landing helicopters MH-53 Super Stallion, 2 LCU landing boats or 3 LCAC air-cushioned landing boats or 6 LCM-8 landing boats, as well as 40 float marine armor personnel carriers in the normal configuration and 61 in the maximum configuration are used for the landing of the Expeditionary Marine Battalion. The crew of the ship consists of 2,800 people, of which there are 1,687 soldiers and 184 Marine sergeants. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching. Leave your comments and tell us which of the ships you liked the most. And also hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our upcoming cool videos.